Oh well. Note to self, we need to up our perception. Excuse me. After the announcement in January, that song really felt like a season finale song after the announcement. Song on game. My brain. Which one has Game Theory? I feel like Game Theory song might have been one that I'm not familiar with Game Theory, so a lot of its meaning probably went over my head. Because isn't Game Theory like a podcast or game group? Anyway. So then I trapped it in my room, an enemy says, telling you all about the bug she saw in her quarters. Its wings were as big as my hand, and feelers like, whoa! It was bouncing all over the place, like boing, boing, boing. She gestures excitedly, swinging her arms over her head. The bugs here are so big, and they're everywhere. I was gonna give it to Tang, she says. She loves gross bug stuff, but she said I should let it go, because if it stung me, I might get weird mutant powers. I mean, other than the ones I already have. I wanted to see if I get more mutant powers. So I started jumping around off higher and higher things. So I was jumping off the back of the ship. And then I got in so much trouble. But it wasn't even that high. She stops in her tracks. Hold on, she says, stooping to rub irritably at her knees for probably the 100th time in the past 5 minutes. Ah, I'm gonna die. Busted up my knees and it's so itchy when my scales grow in. Chief Steward Antecedent. Annie, don't pick at it. Chief Steward Antecedent's voice rings out across the garrison yard. Pleasant, but firm. It instantly transports you back to being in the ship Krish, tugging on her skirts and calling her Auntie. An enemy jumps, stands up straight, her hands flying to her sides. But Mom, an enemy whines, digging her fingers into her knees as Antecedent. I fucking get the name now. Antecedent. Oh, that's cute. I like that. I like that. Antecedent approaches you both. So scratch-tastically itchy. I know, lovely. Antecedent soothes her, patting down her riotous red hair. But the more you pick at it, the more thicker your scales are going to grow in. Spot all the pun names, they're everywhere. I love a little pun bonus, you know, with linguistic double time on the word choice. Game Theory is a YouTube channel that does a lot of theories on games. They've been around on YouTube for a long time. They have a sister YouTube channel, Film Theory, Food Theory. Oh, interesting. I see. An enemy tucks her hands under her armpits to keep from scratching. What if I want to have cool scales? She pouts. An enemy, ignore your mother. Keep scratching. You know what? Scratch even harder. All right? Scales based. Okay? And maybe if you scratch hard enough on your head, you'll even get horns. Don't you want some horns, an enemy? And then you can headbutt someone and poke their eye out. Get them! Get them! Antecedent smiles indulgently. At the rate you're going, I'm sure you'll be covered in them before you need it. Before you know it, no need to rush. An enemy's skin is dotted with patches of protective blue-green scales that grow in whenever she gets a cut or scrape. She rubs the patch on her jaw indignantly. The one she got when she ran headfirst into the food synthesizer back on the ship. Armor-scaled skin. Fascinating. Antecedent opens her satchel, pulls out a bundle of clothes. The queue for the nanoprinter is over a week long, so I patched your pants with scraps from your brother's clothing. Please, try not to put any more holes in them, or yourself, okay? She hands the clothes to an enemy and kisses her on the forehead. An enemy sticks out her tongue and gags. Yuck. Enemy evaluates the clothes as her mom walks away. Galactic, she breathes as she runs her fingers over the odd-colored patches. Then, right there in the middle of the yard, she unashamedly squirms out of her pants and pulls on the new ones. Wah! I look like a fighter jet from the Hollows, she exclaims, showing off her new pants. Like when they stencil your kill count on your plane. Or like a really cool scar. An enemy grins, yeah, you get it. My pants are scarred, just like me. Aw, that is so fucking cool. All right. We need aminals. We need perception. But we are going to go for biology because I want to see what happens when we get over a little bump. We'll go with the biology. This week in biology class, you're studying sugar bugs. This native species looks like a purple marshmallows about to the size of your fist. All puffy and squishy and kind of cute. They don't move or do much, but if you tickle them, they exude an edible syrup from a hole at the top of their bodies. And now, says Professor Howe, you're going to dissect one. Refuse to do it on ethical grounds. Dissect the cute little sugar bug. So science, ethical grounds. Who is that in the picture? I don't think we've met them. Unless that's in adult Mars. I don't think suddenly Mars have her hair. Where's Mars? It could be a future Mars or a relationship with Mars. I'm mostly seeing like the little blue on the side, and I see they have a bit of blue on that same side. Interesting. Also, I just noticed and hate that we're constantly reminded of Tammy. Great. Just fucking emotional kick in the nuts. Thanks, game. Thanks, game. If you didn't want me to sob any harder, let's dissect the sugar bug. You're given a, thankfully already deceased, sugar bug to work on. The moment your scalpel slices it open, a horrid smell assaults you. Sweet like rotting fruit. Yuck. You see Tang trying not to gag too. Dissection. Look, I had to dissect some aminals as well. I have also have seen the like a dissection of like a cow's eye, and that one was also certainly interesting. This is a good hand that is fucked by a 3-card limit. What happens if I do this? All right, so it overrides the +1. Also, I just noticed that card becomes mental blue. All right. We can do 1. I thought I could do a straight, but that's not happening. And man, I could use a mush wood. It feels like a waste. Feels like a waste. You know what? We'll take a small W here, and we'll go to the next round. Let me see. 4, 3, 2. Actually, hold on. I do this. Ooh. cook him with fire. I think that's good enough. -2 to neighboring social cards. Yikes. But we can make this a mental card. That will be unchanged. That becomes 0. Unfortunate. So I can put this here. Gives us 17. Remember in high school when we dissected a frog, everyone was complaining about the smell. I was just looking around in confusion. It was literally turned off. Oh, it is convenient. I don't think this is max. I feel like we could squeeze out a little bit more, but we're at super goal, so I think we're good. Could have gotten 19. I don't know why we're only getting 1 star though, because sometimes we get 2 stars. We get 3 stars if we hit best score. So I guess I'm now suddenly confused what's the difference between a 1 star and a 2 star. I would have understood if 2 stars was bonus but not max. I don't know. You carefully section your sugar bug into 6 discrete organs. Take a photo with your hollow palm and carefully fill in labels for all the parts. That's pretty good, Thing says, peeking at your work. These things are slipperier than I was expecting. Parts of mine are still moving. One thing that I think is weird, that they have these hollow palms and they haven't switched to making like a local textile or of recording material yet. Because I mean, the technology is only going to last so long and slowly break down now that they're off the ship. I've only dissected frogs. The cow eye, we mostly saw like the effects of sulfuric acid, which was interesting. That was an interesting science teacher. They were big on projects to show things. Like the time they connected the gas line to a like soap bubble kind of thing, and then they had a candle at the end of a meter stick, and then they poked the bubble with the candle, and then you had just a big whoosh of like a little fireball. So that was cool. And then the time we went outside and then they lit some magnesium. So we got to see that burn. Although see is not the right word because they told us to always look away because magnesium burns way too bright. Way too many dangerous experiments in that science class. Learned a lot though. Great job, class. Now we're going to leave them overnight, says Professor Howell. The next morning, your class is in for a surprise. The sugar bugs are alive again, and there are more of them. Your teacher explains that their DNA is so malleable that almost any part of a sugar bug can turn into any other part if it needs to. The resulting sugar bugs are smaller, but will eventually grow into full-sized ones. Pertuminan biology is weird. Uh-oh. I don't like that. I feel like the signs of it having to deal with the synthesis of the animals in the plants is moving much likelier. I feel like xenobiology. I feel like we may be causing a bit of xenobiological missteps and aggravating and agitating the wildlife without even realizing it. Version 3 is max. 1 and 2 are how close you are to the max. I see. I feel like it would have been better if they had organized it more, if they used the stars more for like, you passed, you got the secret goal, you got the maximum goal. I feel like that would have been better clarity. Nature versus industry themes in my Frontierland game? My world. Yeah. Certainly kind of interesting. We do have like a lot of the communalism. I do like how the currency is kudos. I'm a big fan of non-currency systems, especially reputational style exchange. Big lover of that. And I believe that also kind of plays into a lot of and I don't want to say a lot of, because I'm not read on like actual anarchist theories and philosophers, but I feel like reputation-based economies and exchanges is more of a anarchist communalism sort of system of exchanging labor and work from one to another without involving a fungible sort of currency kind of intermediary. I also think it's a bit interesting, and why I'm so concerned about Mars seeming like she's the big commodification, very, very kind of mercantile person, and it seems like she is always wanting to be with the tech and disdains being out in nature in the land. Like, she didn't even want to step out of this of the spaceship until like the ground was paved. I have some concerns that we may become antagonistic with her if she continues down a path of wanting to pave over the land and commodify things. Because our character is not going to be going down that path. And that's one of the reasons why I'm annoyed that we keep getting loyalty when I want to get more rebellion, because I'm concerned that loyalty is going to put us more on the government side. And, you know, whenever you have a game that has a slider between government and not government, there's certain implications whenever you're more on the government side that in traditional games I would prefer to not be on. But that's just me assuming things. We will see where the game actually goes with these items. You worked well. +1 biology. All right, and we are going to need to slibibis. We are now early wet. Ooh, a perk. Unlocks xenobotany research. Oh, those are perks. I see. So I wonder if this needs toughness to unlock, because toughness seems to be, you know, our general, well, kind of self-explanatory, but sort of like, you know, our strength and resiliency. I think of all the stats, I would think toughness or organizing is going to be related to more equipment. The game expands. Yeah, it certainly definitely seems like the game is, and it's certainly been foot stomped by the game repeatedly. Like, there are many different people, there are many different stats. You cannot do all of them. You need to decide on what you find important. And I do appreciate the game laying out in clear terms, like, you need to focus on certain areas. You can't, you might flounder. You might find yourself floundering if you try and do everything. It makes repeat playthroughs very fun. Absolutely. And I do think that that is an intelligent way of having a game have replayability like that, is going with the more exponential character progression system, where you are rewarded more for specializing than for generalizing. And honestly, it makes sense. You are in a new world. You are colonists to this new world. You know, you need people to specialize early and specialize deeply, because there are not, you know, when you have billions of humans, people can specialize in a couple things and be generalists in everything else. That's perfectly fine. We have a large society. We have a large industrial base. We have a lot of things already constructed to enable people to exist in such a way. In this setting, this is much more on the frontier. You know, people need to be able to contribute greatly in specialized fields. If you have no botanists to run your farms, you're not going to be growing good crops. That's going to have a significant impact. You're going to need somebody to be your botanist. I would say having such micro scale sort of societies really can call into question the philosophical or sort of like thought experiment situations of what a person is obligated to do in society. Because, you know, if you only have a handful of people, you might be forced and need to do something that you don't like because you just don't have a lot of people to be doing things, and people need to be doing certain tasks and fulfill certain things so everyone can live. Really curious if we will go very far down that path, or if it's not really going to be touched on at all. I certainly haven't like explicitly mentioned anything about populations. I don't think we're going to like be going like having to deal with any like population constraint, concern, problem sort of things. That can be a topic that is oh, that is some landmines to talk around. But I am certainly very interested in engaging with that xenobotany. But before I do, we need to sleepy eebies distress sabinis. Alas, we're gonna have to burn a month without... Actually, hold on. So that was relaxing in the lounge. We unlocked a relaxing on the wall, I think. Wasn't there a relax on the wall? Sneak out to explore nearby? No. Relax on the walls. Ooh, and it gives us friendship with dice. Hell yeah. After the first attack on the colony, they added a lookout towers to the walls. Now you have a place to hang out if you don't feel like working, and it's all the way up here. No adults are going to come ask you to run any errands for them. On rainy days, you take shelter under the pavilions and listen to the pitter-patter of warm raid rots on the grass roof. You can do whatever you want. This is the life. Oh, I would fucking love this. I love rain. My sleep sound is rain and thunderstorms. It will just knock me right out. It's my favorite white noise. Ooh, good place to study. That's to help keep watch. Yeah, let's keep watch, you know. Yeah, I figured that might increase our perception, and we need to get our perception off to dodge Kira, so we can sneak out over the wall again. Sometimes you offer to fill in on lookout duty, so someone can grab a meal. Maybe someday you'll be allowed to work a full shift as a lookout yourself. You find out it's not as relaxing as you'd think. Oh, hey Solana. Dice pops his head up a nearby ladder and looks surprised to see anyone else here. You mind if I sit here too? Sure, there's plenty of room. Two of you dangle your feet off the side and watch the valley below. Dice shovels a little uncomfortably and doesn't say much. You wonder if this was his private spot to be alone before you discovered it. Dreki sneaping to the sound of rain pitter-pattering on the ziggurat. Yeesh. I do want to thin my deck. Unfortunately, it's not one of our remaining zeros. I think we'll get rid of the one for the sake of thinning our deck. All right, we are now mid-wet. Whee! Hey, goat. How's it goatin'? Baby memory of wondering, too strong. Yeah, I am not gonna lie. I am not going to ever forget this memory. Even thinking about forgetting this memory is making me tear up. Ugh. Oh god. And I've waxed how this game tying the cards to being explicitly memories is working on so many fucking layers, and it's just mind blown amazing game design. Hoi Dreki. Hoi homozygote. I hope you are having a fine, fantastic, fantabulous Friday evening or Saturday morning. I don't know what time it is. I've just been going, and we are not gone because we are here in the Exocolony. Now, if you like thinking your brain on science stuff, perhaps a little bit more grounded, not so much sci-fi, but more science non-fiction, you can gander the goat right over there for all of your scientific shenaniganery. They also have a fun, they grab sound bites from various streamers and spin bit gotcha at time. People can spin bit gotchas, and you make some very fascinating word combos. I tell ya what. This game is interesting visually. You don't look at the gameplay. It's good. It's definitely narration heavy. I will say that, but I feel like we start at age 10. Game ends after 10 years. We basically do like an action every month. There's 13 months in 1 year. It has a lot of interesting themes. I think it has a lot of very intelligent game design and a lot of little things I'm really liking as I've noticed them. There is a content warning that I've put up in there in case that's a concern of anything. And it will definitely, it's going to emotionally gut punch you and haymaker you and all that. But the fact that it can pull out emotional beats very early in the game is a testament to how well they have written the characters, that you can empathize with them and relate to them in a very short amount of time and oh so easily. Surely Dreki has never said anything so cursed as to appear in Goat's Bit Gotcha. Feels like sci-fi Disco Elysium from that descriptor with a bit more of a time mechanic. I would say maybe a little bit less disco, because disco is very heavy on the topics. Like, I feel like disco is much more blatant on its political themes that it's engaging with. I feel like this one is a little bit lighter. I will say it definitely really feels like you are a teenager. You are living your life as people who just arrived on this Xeno planet, is founding this colony. So it's very much you are growing up, you are having experiences with these people. I don't know. It's hard to describe it, but I feel like they are conveying very well life in living and growing in this colony of people. Like just the way the task system works, the way you choose between things, your interactions with your fellow children, your interactions with your adults, the way you explore and get access to new areas. It's interesting. I've enjoyed it. The only thing I've been complaining about is this rebellion versus loyalty system. I feel like it's pushing me towards loyalty in ways that are annoying me when I want to be a rebel. I want to be an anarchist. Down with the system. Right, what was I doing? So we rested. I need perception. Right, we unlocked something with xenobiology, and I wanted to check that out. Explore the xenobotany lab. Hey, kiddo, your dad says, looking up from his work desk where he's dissecting a huge bell-shaped flower. Can you hand me that separator? Really got my hands in things here. You hand him the tool, which he uses to wedge open some sort of weird stoma-like opening inside the bell. Gooey purple nectar oozes out and pools on his desk. Whoa, he exclaims. But I drained this little beauty. Can you get a towel, I guess? Don't you hate it when you help your dad open up the flower and just the goo just spews out everywhere? Embarrassing. Guess we gotta get the towel and clean that up. You help him mop up the flower juice. Yuck! It's sticky and smells like rotting vegetables. When you're done, he looks at you with pride. You know, I've been thinking of getting one of you kids to come help me out with researching the native plants, he says. You think you might be able to break off some time to help your old man in the lab? No, you've been studying biology, he adds. It's not as glamorous as gene tech research with instance, but it is important. He grins. Let me talk to your mom about it tonight, before you go telling her. She's not a fan of alien plants, you know? We're up to her, we'd fill these greenhouses with earth plants and nothing else. But gotta be more on this planet that we can cultivate. Find any cool plants while you're exploring, bring them here and we can take a look at them. Hey, Fresca. Welcome on by. Ah, the sussy bee knife. Ooh. 2 biology, 2 organizing. 15 kudos. Nice, nice. Looks like taking advanced work is advanced reward. We are so close to getting a perk with toughness though, so I think I'm gonna shovel dirt. You're helping your mom repair the garden fence when you see Cal slip away to the barn carrying a blanket. You excuse yourself and follow him. Does he still have that weird pet bug? He does, in fact, still have that weird pet bug. Cal looks at you and smiles, cradling Socks in his arms and rocking her back and forth. The little nubs on her butt seem like they're getting longer. She must be growing. I made her a little bed in that trunk over there, he says. She mostly likes to be curled up in the dark. She sleeps a lot. Socks chirps and Cal sits on the floor, letting her curl up in his lap. I've been coming in early every morning and staying up late every day so she can play in the sun, he explains. That's when she's most active. But her favorite thing is laying in my lap for belly rubs. He tickles her soft tummy. Isn't that right, Socks? Who's a good dilly pillar? You are. Yes, you are. Socks trills in delight. Do you want to feed her? Cal asks. I collected a bunch of leaves for her. Here, take one. You kneel down beside them and take one of the leaves. Socks trundles from Cal's lap into your cupped hands and gingerly holds the leaf between her 2 front paws. She's like a tiny dinosaur caterpillar. Munch, 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 munch. Aww. Ow. Socks nips at your finger. Your teeth are really, really sharp. Uh-oh. Play it cool. You pretend like it doesn't hurt, but it super does hurt. You can barely keep yourself from crying as Socks munches happily on the rest of the leaf. When she's done, Cal puts her gently back in the box. Then he notices your hand and gasps. Solana, you're hurt. Cal looks over your finger, which is bleeding sluggishly from the shallow puncture wounds. I learned first aid from my mom, he says. Let's just wrap it and tell people you banged it in a door, okay? He bites his lip. People think she's dangerous. They'll take her away. She's not dangerous. It's just an accident. +3 on 3rd stage of challenges. Interesting. Cal brushes his hand over the loose dirt and straw on the barn floor. My mom says the aliens here are dangerous, he mutters. I asked, in theory, if I found an alien I could keep as a pet, but she said I can't. Even if it's a nice alien, because of diseases and stuff. He sighs. Socks isn't sick, he insists. And she doesn't mean to hurt anybody. The other animals probably don't either. I'm getting kind of concerned. This could be very dangerous. Wow. This is going to be pretty... Damn. Well, we hit the goal. That is also a 19. That's kind of funny. Do we get the straight or the flush? Dang. I don't think we can get much higher, and there's no reason to burn the mushwood log on this. No shot. We could have gotten 1 higher. Seeing a potential big straight and not getting it hurts. Yeah. That's why I'm not focusing on straights, because I suck at getting them. We're now at late wet. All right. I think one more toughness, and we will get ourselves the toughness perk. I'm sad that defense training is the only thing giving us animals. But I do also want to get that up. I was hoping the xenobiology thing would give us an animal thing, but it's not. I think we should play sports ball. It's going to get us to bravery 10, which could maybe be a breakpoint for certain checks. But it'll also give us that one toughness we need to get the toughness perk. And I think that's going to give us an extra equipment slot. So let's go sports ball. Mars may not be skilled as a sports ball player as an enemy, but she plays hard. She orders people around like a team captain, but she isn't so great at passing the ball. She'd rather be the star. Her favorite thing is to spike the ball right into the opposing net stop's body. It's not a legal move, but she's done it so many times that the opposition now stands further back when Mars has the ball, which is exactly what she wants. Did you see that? An enemy complains to you during a break. Mars wouldn't pass the ball to either of us for 10 whole minutes. Somebody has to do something. An enemy looks at you questioningly. I am not very persuasive. I'm worried. I don't want to reward Mars's selfish behavior, but I'm also equally worried if we freeze her out, if that's just going to get her to dig in her heels and maybe be worse. And like, it's certainly one thing I'm going to wonder as this game progresses is how much our decisions matter. Because, you know, a lot of games, especially in big branching and visual novels, usually it's just like a little bit of flavor text. But going over 10 years growing up with these people, there is the potential for huge changes. You know, I don't know how long they worked on this game, so I don't know how likely it is for there to be any kind of sweeping personality changes or things like that can happen. But I like to think we can save Mars from her selfish path of where she seems to be trending towards. We're gonna not pass her the ball, unfortunately. The rest of the game, you and an enemy pass to each other and ignore Mars. She notices it, but just assumes you want to be the star too and doesn't give you any hassle. The thing you've learned with Mars is that she loves to be the best, but she doesn't have the kind of ego that makes her mean about it. Doesn't really solve the problem, but it's kind of fun anyway. Okay. Didn't expect her to take it that way, but okay. Do you want to see the game tree they made for that game? Ooh, one slot gets +1. Interesting. So we can get a 1, 2, 3. We can get 23. So we got a straight there and then that. Just as easily do... No, because that would break up this. I can't break these two up. Does seem the best. 23 goes down to 21 because of the straight and the combo. Yep. All right. 20. I always feel like, oh, this is the most points I can get. And then it's just like, fuck you, Dreki. You could have done better, buddy. How does it feel? Yeah, you got the you overachieved and got the super bonus, but you could have done even better, Dreki. How does that make you feel? Also, if I haven't said hi already, hi, Vreska. There's an interview where the dev discusses it. Speaking from interviews, they said the memory card connection was the first thing they decided on regards to the game mechanics. Ooh. I'm certainly liking the memory cards. I think it's a very nice... I meant to look up the word because I forgot it, but like there's a phrase for how a game's mechanics are working with the narrative convention. I keep circling back to Ludo narrative. Thank you. You're 4 for 4 today, Jeff. The Ludo narrative. I think it's a very good synergy, and it really works so very well because, you know, they're memories. They're things we have lived through and experienced, and also the fact that we can choose to forget them. I feel like it makes them have just that much more impact. And it's also another sign of our character growing up. You know, as we grow up, some of our older and those lower scoring memories are forgotten. There's a commotion in the square. An expedition's vehicle has driven through the gates and is idling in the middle of the square, an unusual sight. People coming down from command to investigate. I also am noticing I need to be over 30 to get the perk, it looks like. So now I know. Bugger me, I suppose. Or it could be I need to be over 33. Utopia gets out of the vehicle and trudges over to Utica. After a brief conversation, you see Utica gesture for people to unload the vehicle and clear the area. Stay out of the way to see what they're unloading. I think this is the first time we've seen Utopia. Young surveyor who loves speeding across the planet on her glider. Cool. It's a body. Chief Surveyor Tannen's body. Someone quickly covers him with the sheet, but not before the image of his torn open body is seared into your memory. However he died, it was violent and bloody. You feel your stomach cramp with nausea. Fuck. I was planning on increasing my perception, and then because there was the sneak outside, there was an event we could talk to. Fuck. Damn it, game. Damn it. What happened? Dice asks, coming over to crouch around the corner with you. Share that Uncle Tannen is dead, and he stares at the sheet-covered body intensely, as if he could see through it. Did they say how? They never tell us the truth anyway. Nobody will tell the kids what really happened. Did something eat him? Did he get lost or fall off a cliff? Do they even know? Dice nods, frowning. They don't even want us to know about the monsters and the other, worse stuff. They want us to think everything's fine, but it's not. This planet isn't as nice as they say it is. He shakes his head. They hate that they can't control us. You and Dice watch the adults carry Uncle Tannen's body away. And the way he's practically vibrating, you can tell Dice wants to ask more questions about what happened. After a few awkward minutes, he sneaks away without saying anything. Probably to try and get a look at the body. At least, Tammy isn't around to see this, you think? At least they're together now. Wherever people go when they die. Fuck. Oh, God. Oh, fucking dig the knife into my gut, why don't you? Watch Utopia bend over to get a hug from Utica. wiping her eyes as she finally cries. Utica has never been the most comforting presence in your life, but it seems to help. Utopia will probably be the next chief surveyor. At 24, she'll be the youngest council member. She's only a toddler when the stratosphere left Earth. Apparently, her sharp eye and hoverbike flying skills are the best in expeditions. Time for glow month. It's pretty. But I feel like our character is going to have nightmares. An enemy rolls a bobber fruit down her arm and flicks it to you with her elbow, then munches down on one of her own while she watches the construction crews work on the walls. Kinda cool, huh? She says. Soon this place is going to look like a real colony. I got you a stick. Thanks? Not even an enemy can truly appreciate the power of stick. Alright, nothing phantasmagorical at the Despot. The music is so nice. Alright, so... Sorry, Dad, but I have got to shovel dirt so I can maybe unlock another equipment slot, please. The geoponic stones are a comforting beacon of light during glow, while everything else is throwing off an unsettling alien light. The domes are stable, dependable, human. You like spending time in them, tending to the seedlings that will be transplanted into the fields and pollen. Glow hits a tiny bit different after what happened. Really does. It really, really does. Well, that's going to be a 6. Well, I can do a 1, 2, 3. So we can get 24. Do this. 22. 21. All right, +1 for the... All right. All right, we'll take the W. You worked well. It's 5. Well, we definitely got the perk. Then a quiet glow. But the grim, surreal darkness of the season reminds you of last year's violence. As the month wears on, you overhear arguments at dinner. Adults worrying that an attack is still coming. And others who think the first one was just a fluke. Surveyors mention seeing new tracks in the forest, but are shushed so people don't panic. The gates are closed. You drill emergency procedures, filing soundlessly from the classroom to the creche. We literally just went over, is it creche or creche? Creche. To hide under tables, waiting for the sirens to call the all clear. You drill and prepare and worry. But nothing happens. Then, just as glow was starting to wane, the toxic purple spill of the wormhole fading as the suns almost rise past the horizon again, the sirens start. You're reading a holo novel in bed as when you hear them, followed by the stomp of boots down the hallway outside your quarters. An alert flashes on your holo palm. Shelter in the creche. This is not a drill. You get another message from your dad. Me and Mom are gonna stay in the greenhouses. We're safe. Just follow Auntie Anne to the creche and wait for us, okay? Don't worry. Way more prepared than we were last year. Love you. Stay safe. You go to the creche where you belong. You can follow the security guards and see what's happening at the gates. Ooh. For all of our combat training, the little that it tiny is, We are not a fighter. We're going to the crash. Damn it! Stop giving me loyalty! You head for the children's creche. Even with just the emergency lights on, your feet could never forget the way. When you get there, you spot Tangent and Dice huddled together on the beanbag chairs. Dice is stone-faced, as usual. He's holding Tangent in his arms. Can't remember the last time you saw them this close. Tang must be really scared. You take a seat on a beanbag chair and wait. Other children filter into the room after you. Anemone, the little brothers, Nougat. You don't see him, so Cal must be sheltering with your parents in the greenhouses. You hope he's okay. Talk to Dice, Tang. Dreki too much of a goody two-shoes for his own good, which is impressive considering he doesn't have feet for shoes. No, Vox, I have a single boot. Remember, I have a single boot because there's a snake in the boot, and then I mail that boot whenever I want to visit someplace. Because mailing is cheaper than flying airfare. Also, a lot of planes really hate when you bring a snake on the plane, being a snake. Some sort of panic about snakes on planes really gets people up in a tizzy. It's quite frustrating to deal with. It's just so much easier to just crawl into a boot and just mail myself someplace. So dumb they won't let us outside. Dice grumbles. We live here too. We deserve to know what's going on. Treating us like little kids. I'm not even scared. You search his face for signs. He's lying to sound cool. But his bad mood is sincere. Tangent smacks his arm. Don't be ridiculous, she snaps. There's dangerous animals out there. Dice just shrugs. Nothing scares him. You don't hear much from outside. After a while, the sirens sound all clear. You all file back to your quarters. Your mom and dad join you right away and give you a big hug. And thank you for following their instructions. Gonna pack your own peanuts and water bottle, though? As long as someone named Sam Jackson isn't on the plane. And pay for a fragile... Yeah, we need a Fragili sticker. This boot is Fragili. This side up. Do not turn upside down. Do not stack heavy objects on top of. When things have calmed down, you overhear your parents talking. I'm not going to be the first to congratulate Rhett, but all his defensive improvements were exactly what we needed. Your mom grumbles. It's gonna be insufferable at the next council meeting. Your dad pats her hand. Credit where credit's due, Flu Bell, he says. She smiles, despite herself. Could have been worse. Your mom nods, and they both sit in silence before your dad speaks again. Poor Hal, he says. What a wait. No! 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 Don't you fucking tell me. You. Your parents startle. Hey, Pumpkinhead, your dad says. Yeah, they're going to announce it in a few hours after everyone's had a chance to calm down. You didn't make it. What happened? Don't worry about that, your mom replies, shooting your dad a look to keep him from talking. It's adult stuff, okay? You guys won't be able to go to engineering wing for a little bit. Not until it's decontaminated. Oh, not until it's decontaminated, you say? Oh, that assuages my concerns totally. What the fuck? Curl up quietly to think. Professor Howell can't just die. He can't just be gone. He's your teacher. And the engineering wing is where you take classes. I can't imagine something bad happening in such a safe place. Fall asleep, thinking for sure there's been some mistake. What a year. Certainly a much more focused stat gain this time around. A lot of toughness. We got some perception. Doing good on aminals. A lot of memories. We're getting to be good friends with Dice and an enemy. We kind of didn't hang out with Cal too much this year. And our relationship with Mars is kind of getting on the rocks. -18 kudos. Well, we did spend a bunch. Unfortunately, our loyalty is going up, which is unfortunate. And I don't know why this is saying +5 stress. This seems like a weird metric because this has gone up and down a lot. +1 to physical cards. That is not what I expected to get from that. Well, fuck.